Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your excellent response to News Rewind, the weekly current affairs program launched on Symposium IAS. Thank you so much. And just I want to inform you, due to some demands made by the aspirants, we will be starting the environment module from December 3rd. And you can register that, and the contact number for that purpose is 81308 40148. So you can register that. Comes at a very nominal fees, 2.5 hours of evening classes with all current updates of 1 year and daily objective test. It would be both for preliminary and mains examination, would be covering up the topic of disaster management. So all your queries would be on this number. Now today, let's see the second edition of News Rewind, whatever has happened in this week, and let's cover that through questions. Now, the first question, although this week was a happening week because the Foreign Affairs Minister of India, External Affairs Minister of India visited Pakistan, and it was said that the ice would melt, and also some diplomatic row between India and Canada was seen. But let's concentrate on what is more important and what can be framed as questions. Now, the first question for today, and that's which one of the following statements is correct about alpha fold 2? It's a type of protein dysfunctioning of which results in Parkinson's disease. It's an artificial intelligence model that can predict the structure of millions of proteins, and it is a category of superfood that produces antioxidants to prevent the oxidation of cells, and it's a fold that connects the sequence of amino acid to make the protein and protein structure. What do you think? The correct answer to this is B, because we can see that the Nobel Prize in the field of chemistry has been given to David Baker, and this is for computational protein design, and also to Damons Hassabis and John Jumper for protein structure prediction. And Jumper and Hassabis has used what is called as alpha fold model. So the second option, that's B option, is correct. Let's see the second question. Now, consider the following statements. The Finance Commission grants released by the center to the rural bodies in the states are in the form of tied and untied funds. So, they are in the form of tied and untied fund. Second is maintenance of open defecation free status, treatment of household waste comes under the focus of untied grants, whereas agriculture, rural housing, and education comes under the focus of tied grants. Powers, responsibilities, and authority of panchayat have been mentioned in Article 243G of the Constitution. How many of the above mentioned statements are correct? Now, the first statement is definitely correct, and the third statement is definitely correct because it has been mentioned under Article 243G. But the second statement is incorrect because just reverse is the case. When you talk about maintenance of open defecation free status, treatment of household waste, and also rainwater harvesting, now it comes under the tied funds and not the untied funds, whereas agriculture, rural housing, and education comes under the focus of untied grants. Now we can see that the panchayats, they fulfill their needs across 29 subjects which are mentioned in the 11th schedule of the Indian Constitution. And the recently we can see that the 15th Finance Commission, on the recommendation of which the first allocation of fund was made to Andhra Pradesh and Rajasthan. And that's why this question is relevant. Now let's see the third question. Which one of the following statements related to brain-eating amoeba is incorrect? It is also referred to as primary amoebic melanoencephalitis, that's PAM. Kerala has been able to bring down the mortality rate of this disease from 97% globally to 26% in Kerala. This disease is caused by Lismania donovani, and Afanan Jasim from Kerala became the first Indian to survive this disease. See, The incorrect statement is C, because this disease is not caused by Leishmania donovani. Leishmania donovani is a protozoan parasite which is responsible for causing Kala-azar. Kala-azar. So this statement is, the other statements are definitely correct. And we can see that this disease is caused by a free living amoeba which lives in warm, fresh water and also soil. And this is called as Nigeria fowleri. And this is responsible for the disease. From this, we get the disease. From warm, fresh water, we get the disease. From soil, we get the disease. And Afanan Jasim is not only the first survivor in India of this disease, but also the 11th survivor in the entire world. Now, when you talk about the brain-eating amoeba, this disease comes under also AES. AES means it's a condition which includes a number of diseases, and Japanese encephalitis is included in that. Also, this disease is included in that. It stands for acute encephalitis syndrome. Let's see the next question. Consider the following statement. India has been able to eliminate trachoma as a public health problem as acknowledged by WHO. Trachoma is a bacterial infection which occurs due to lack of hygiene and unclean water. It continues to be leading cause of blindness worldwide. This is a wide statement. It is highly communicable and can occur through contact with eyes, nose, throat, secretions, and indirectly via flies. How many of the above mentioned statements are correct? Everything is correct. Everything is correct about this disease and has been declared, acknowledged by WHO that India has been successfully able to eliminate trachoma, which is responsible for blindness. So this is also in the news. Let's see. And generally with reference to Delhi and NCR, this question can be asked with reference to GRAP, that is Graded Response Action Plan. Which one of the following statement is incorrect? First phase of GRAP bans stone crushers. Second phase of GRAP bans the use of diesel genset. Fourth phase of GRAP stops the entry of trucks except those carrying essential commodities. And third phase of GRAP shuts down nearby power plant. Now, Delhi is always in the news due to air pollution. And the first stage of GRAP was enforced in Delhi last week. And also now the levels have enhanced. So the second, third stage would be enforced. But as far as GRAP is concerned, GRAP was launched in the year 2017 for the Delhi and the NCR region, particularly for checking air pollution. And we can see if the air quality index reads from 0 to 50, it is considered as good. From 51 to 100, it is considered as satisfactory. From 101 to 200, it is considered as moderate. But first phase of GRAP would start when the AQI is poor. AQI poor means 201 to 300. It reads 201 to 300. The second phase of GRAP would be starting when the AQI is very poor, that is 301 to 400. The third phase of GRAP would be starting when AQI is severe, that is for 401 to 500. But the fourth phase of GRAP starts when it is above, the AQI reads above 450. So in the severe condition, we can see not only the third phase starts, but after a time, that is AQI reading 450 plus, the fourth phase would be starting. The correct option for this is what? That first phase of GRAP bans stone crusher. This is incorrect because this is under the third phase. Banning of stone crusher is under the third phase. First phase is what? Biomass burning would be stopped. Mechanized sweeping of roads would be stopped. So this comes under the first phase. And the other statements are definitely correct. You can get a question like this anytime in your examination. Now see, greenwashing was in the news last week. Consider the following statements and select the correct code. Greenwashing involves making unsubstantiated claims that the products made by companies are environment friendly. Second is it's also called as greenwashing. Third is the government recently issued guidelines to regulate greenwashing. Now, everything is correct about the question. Not a single statement is incorrect. So the option would be 1, 2, and 3. Often you would have seen products which says that this product, in making this product, there was zero emission, or the product would be carrying tags like this 100% environment friendly, or sometimes it may be cruelty free. So the government of India has issued guidelines for greenwashing. Now this is called as greenwashing. The definition of greenwashing is given in the first statement. So government of India has issued guidelines regarding greenwashing, and the government of India says that that should be verified with facts through independent studies. Then only these products would be allowed. Otherwise, these products would be won't allowed. These products won't be allowed in the market. So that's called as, it's also referred to as greenwashing. Remember that. Now see, consider the following statements. India will require $1 trillion to transition away from coal mining and thermal plants. Second statement is non-energy cost for this transition is greater than green energy cost. In India, industrial production and products is the second biggest contributor in greenhouse gases emission after energy sector. And fourth statement is India is a part of the powering past coal alliance. Just one missed word. Powering past coal alliance. Clear? How many of the above mentioned statements are correct? So the first statement is correct. Why? Because recently, last week, a report was published by the environment think tank that's called as iForest. And in this report, it says that $1 trillion would be required by India for transitioning away from coal mining and thermal plants. But this $1 billion would be required for the closure of the coal plants, not for other infrastructure and investment. So first statement is correct, but the second statement, the third statement, and the fourth statement is incorrect. So the only correct option would be A, that is only one. Now why? Because non-energy cost for this transition is greater than green energy cost. Just the reverse is the case. That green energy cost is greater than the non-energy cost. And just now I'll explain what is green energy cost and what is non-energy cost. Second, in India, industrial production and products is the second biggest contributor in greenhouse gases emission after energy sector. It's not. Second is agriculture. Then comes industrial production and products. Third, fourth, India is a part of the powering past coal alliance. Definitely not, because India's dependency on coal is very high. India, Australia, Russia are countries which are dependent on coal. So this cannot be. So powering past coal alliance was started in 2017 by countries like UK, Canada, and the purpose is to phase out the use of coal. So powering, that is energy generation without the use of coal. So that is the purpose of powering past coal alliance. And as far as the explanation is concerned, we can see that the study is of iForest, which I have just told you, environmental think tank, and 1 trillion is for closure of mines. But transition cost can be divided into green energy cost and non-energy cost. 52% would be spent on green energy cost, and 48%, that's why the second statement was incorrect. 48% would be spent on non-energy cost. Now, green energy cost includes what? Building green energy plant, repowering existing plant through other sources of energy. This would be including the green energy cost. Whereas certainly there would be workforce in the coal mines. So supporting workforce, communities working there, dependent on coal, livelihood alternate for them would be included in the non-energy cost, and economic diversification would be included in the non-energy cost. So you can see that the study only talks about $1 trillion for the closure of mines, that is for the non-energy cost, not about the green energy cost. And as far as contributions made by different sectors of India in greenhouse gases is concerned, rank 1 is energy sector, which contribution of more than 75.8%. Rank 2 is agriculture with contribution of 13.4%. Rank 3 is Industrial sector, which contribution of 8.4, and ranked fourth is waste with contribution of 2.3. Let's see the next question. Consider the following statements. Article 11 of the Constitution gives Parliament the power to make any provision with respect to termination, acquisition of citizenship. Article 6A of the Citizenship Act 1955 granted citizenship to immigrants who entered Assam before January 1st, 1966. This provision was added to the statute in 1985. That's the third statement. Fourth statement is those who entered the state between January 1st, 1966 and March 25th, 1971 would have the same obligation and rights of Indian citizen, except that they won't be able to vote for 10 years. Now, why this question has been asked? Because recently, on October 17th, the Supreme Court gave a verdict with a majority of 4:1. 4 in favor of Article 6A and 1 as a voice of dissent, and upheld Article 6A of the Citizenship Act. There were petitions for abrogation of this article, that why should be only and only allowed for the state of Assam and not for other states. And this was also a violation. The petitioner said that this was also a violation of Article 29(1). But the Supreme Court said that the presence of ethnic groups in the border states are not responsible for violating Article 29(1) of the Constitution anyway. And as far as the explanation is, so we can see that all four statements are correct. And as far as the explanation is concerned, Assam Accord was signed on August 15, 1985 between the government of India. At that time, Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and the All Assam Students Union also. And Supreme Court gave the judgment related to this on October 17th, 2024. Let's see the other question. How many of the above of the following pairs are incorrectly matched? Hikaku-sen, the three non-nuclear principle, Nihon Hidankyo, Nobel Peace Prize, and Hibakusha, survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. See, all the pairs are correctly matched. Nothing is wrong. Incorrectly matched. So incorrectly means none of the above. All the pairs are correctly matched. Why? Hikaku-sen is what? Hikaku-sen is the three non-nuclear principles of Japan. And this includes what? Non-production of nuclear weapon, non-introduction of nuclear weapon, and non-possession of nuclear weapon. These three principles were enunciated by the Prime Minister of Japan, Isaku Sato. And this was one of the main components of Japan's foreign policy also, the three non-nuclear principles. Nihon Hidankyo is an organization which works for, and this was provided the Nobel Peace Prize 2024, which works for Hibakusha, that is survivals of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So all the three pairs are correctly matched. To 120,000 people died because of these bombings. So the purpose is to establish nuclear free zones in different parts of the world, and to eliminate, to disallow the use of nuclear weapons. So, correct statement is C. Let's consider the following statements and select the correct one. The Global Hunger Index 2024 ranks India 105th among 127 nations. Child stunting is the share of children under 5 with lower weight proportional to their height. Child wasting is the share of children under 5 with lower height proportional to their age. India has the highest child wasting rate globally. Now, we can see, as far as the first statement is correct, considered this is correct statement. The second statement is incorrect, and the third statement is incorrect. Fourth is definitely correct, and this is just the reverse, because child stunting is the share of children under 5 with lower height proportional to their age, and child wasting is the share of children under 5 with lower weight proportional to their height. Just the reverse is the case. And when you talk about The Global Hunger Index. The Global Hunger Index includes what? It includes the mortality rate. It includes how many people, children are undernourished. It also includes child stunting. It also includes child wasting. These are the indicators for the score. And as far as the score is concerned, below 9.9, low levels of hunger, 10 to 9.9, moderate, in between is serious. So India's score is 27.3 that I haven't mentioned. 35 to 49 is 49.9 is alarming, and above 50 is extremely alarming. Said that the number of undernourished in India is roughly equivalent to the population of Brazil, the seventh most populous country of the world. And that's about 14% of India's total population as such. Now let's discuss the 11th question. Which one of the following statement is incorrect? Terrestrial spectrum is used for mobile communication. Satellite spectrum has no national territorial limit. Satellite spectrum is shared spectrum around the world and is allocated administratively. And the Telecommunication Act 2023 has added spectrum for satellite communication in the list of auction allocation. See, the correct answer is what? The correct answer is D. Because the Telecommunication Act 2023 has not added the satellite spectrum in the list of auction allocation. It has added it. It has said that it would be allocated in an administrative manner. So the government of India has decided to allocate satellite spectrum administratively, and some of the companies of India, like the Geo, wanted it to be allocated in the form of an auction, which has been completely rejected. So the correct answer is D, and this was also recently in the news. The satellite spectrum. Let's see, you can see the satellite spectrum is managed by the International Telecom Union, ITU. This is a UN body. Let's see the next question. Now, the 12th question is, which one of the following statement is incorrect? Europa is a moon of Jupiter, whereas Enceladus is that of Saturn. That's true. Surface gravity of Enceladus is greater than that of Europa. Europa has the smoothest surface, whereas Enceladus is the most reflective surface in our solar system. And water vapor plumes have been detected both on Europa and Enceladus due to erupting cryo geysers. Now, the correct answer is what? Recently, you can see NASA launched its Europa mission, which is called as Europa Clipper. And that's why I have framed a question on this. The correct answer is B. This is the correct answer. The surface gravity of Enceladus is greater than that. In fact, it is less. Because if you talk about the surface gravity of Enceladus, it is 1/100th that of Earth, and that of Europa is 14% that of Earth. So on Europa, a person would be moving just like on Moon, but if suppose a person jumps on Enceladus, because of a very low surface of gravity, the surface won't be able to catch him back. So this is the incorrect answer. Since Europa is in news because the goal of NASA's Europa Clipper mission is in search of extraterrestrial life. So that is the answer. Let's see the next question. Which one of the following statement is incorrect? A lion coalition is a group of males that work together to compete for mates and territory. The lions in a coalition are typically brothers and cousins, but can include unrelated males also. Unlike lion coalition, a cheetah coalition is a group of male and female cheetahs that live and hunt together for rest of their lives. And cheetahs coalition establish a territory that span 15 to 30 square miles and rarely leave their territory. Now the correct answer is what? The correct answer is C. Because cheetah coalition is also a group of males, not females. Female live a life of solitude. They live alone. Males form coalition only. And this was also news because of the cheetah coalition in India. So this was also news. Let's see the next question. Now consider the following statements and select the correct code. Starship is slated to land astronauts on moon in less than 2 years as part of America's space agency's Artemis mission. SpaceX is developed by the company of Elon Musk. SpaceX goal is of developing fully reusable rockets capable of ferrying humans and supplies to space. And one of the rockets of SpaceX recently on its returning journey to Earth was caught mid-air by large mechanical arms of its launch tower. All the three statements are correct. And this is a big feat that SpaceX has conducted. So it is laying the foundation of reusable rockets in future, so that ferrying of humans and the humans and supplies to space can be made amicably. So the correct answer is A. Let's see the next question. Now consider the following: Simon Johnson, Why Nations Fail; Kamala Harris, these are books, The Truths We Hold; and Han Kang, The Vegetarian. You know, Han Kang, she's in news because she's a South Korean author, and the Nobel Prize in the field of literature has been given to her for 2024. Kamala Harris, you very well known figure because presidential candidate. Simon Johnson, the first option is wrong. First option, second and third option are correct, but the first option is wrong. Why? Because Why Nations Fail, The Origin of Power, Prosperity and Poverty, is written by Daron Acemoglu and James Robinson. Along with these two, Simon Johnson were conferred the Nobel Prize in the field of economics in 2024, and their research is wealth inequality among nations. So the three works have been given, and they were asked to match. Let's see the next question. Consider the following statements and select the correct code. India and Russia have established a working group for cooperation in Northern Sea Route. The Great Northern Sea Route is a transport corridor from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok. And third is that India is also a member of Eastern Economic Forum established by Russia. All the three statements are correct. Nothing is wrong. Because India became a member of the Eastern Economic Forum in the year 2019 when it invested $1 billion there. And India's far reach move is also for Eastern Economic Forum. Now, why it is asked as a contemporary question? Because the working group of India and Russia for cooperation in the Northern Sea Route held its first meeting very recently, last week. And the purpose is to train Indians and Russians for the polar navigation and for jointly developing ship and for jointly being engaged in shipbuilding in the Arctic region. So that's also one of the objectives of the Great Northern Sea Route. So all the three statements are correct. Let's see the other questions. The 17th question, which one of the following statement is incorrect? Mycobacterium tuberculosis, MTB, is a pathogen that causes TB. MTB bacteria keeps themselves protected in clusters called tubercles, surrounded by lipids. Although MTB is a respiratory pathogen, it can spread to other tissues and stay dormant for decades. And MTB's survival abilities are the result of its small genome compared to other respiratory bacteria. See, the correct answer is what? Because MTB does not have a small genome, it has a large genome. Large genome. And large genome means more of proteins. So the genetic structure, the protein structure enables this bacterium, which is called as the MTB, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, to remain dormant in macrophages. That's the first line of immune cells of humans, where they hide for decades. So the correct answer is D. A growing concern in India is MDR-TB. MDR means multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, because the drugs which are used for tuberculosis won't be able to cure this disease. And a variant of MDR is called as XDR, extremely drug resistant tuberculosis. So the powerful drugs which are used for curing tuberculosis also won't be able to cure XDR as such. And in the limelight of that, this question has been framed. Let's see, one last question also. Consider the following statements. Wat Phao is ruined Khmer Hindu temple in Cambodia. Restoration and conservation of this temple is going on under the assistance of India. And shadow puppetry theatres on Ramayana is performed in countries which include Indonesia, India, Malaysia, Cambodia, and Laos. See, the correct statement is not the first, because this is incorrect, but the second and the third statement is correct. Because Wat Pheu is a ruined Khmer Hindu temple in Laos, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. UNESCO World Heritage Site. And the restoration work is going on with the help of the Archaeological Survey of India, that is engaged. That's why I have written assistance of India. So 2 and 3 is the correct option. So likewise, we would be coming up every week and in an innovative manner. I think most of you like this. So number of comments. So in an innovative manner would be revising current affairs, would be solving questions pertaining to current affairs in this manner. Thank you so much.